What's good, YouTube? It's RuneXYJo here. We did it, we're in Masters. We did it in 10 days time. This is the quickest I've ever done it, actually, even though still kind of busy within life, but we still did it with none other than Yummy Mitsurugi. So Yummy Mitsurugi got hit, as you guys all know. Mitsurugi prayers and Cupsy got hit by 1. It does suck in terms of consistency, but the deck still does essentially the same thing. I wanted to do a updated guide and a 1-card combo just because it's the same and less consistent doesn't mean the plays have changed. It's still the same, but it's still slightly different, if that makes sense. But I just wanted to do a quick deck profile for people and a guide just to show the 1-card combo at least, to show how you could go from Mitsurugi to Yummy, vice versa, Yummy to Mitsurugi. What's good about Yummy Mitsurugi is that it's a two-way street. It's not like Solfachord Yummy where it goes from Solfachord all the way to Yummy. You could go back and forth based off whatever you start off with, and that's because of Camilla and because of Herald. Herald, I don't know if you guys know, when it's sent to the graveyard, you could add 1 ritual's monster or spell. Thus, if you get a ritual monster, you could open up your gates to Mitsurugi. So, you know, that has not changed. Consistency is fine. You just, honestly, you just compensated for the 1 Yummy and then the 1 Mitsurugi prayers with just like hand traps. I'm gonna start off with hand traps just because that can always change based off meta, budget, and your own preference. You do what you want, but this is the non-engine I play. So in this variant, we're playing about 15 to 16 hand traps, which is pretty standard. You should honestly be playing around 12 or more for sure. But we're playing the 2 Duel and Lock. This is the must. This shuts off a lot of decks. So Duel and Lock is the new standard that you have to be playing. Always the 1 Maxi and the 3 Ash Blossoms. That's the most played cards in Master Duel. It's just a staple. You have to be playing that. The 1 Ghost Bell. Now you could switch this because of Kewl Tunes. Board disruption or destruction is a little bit better right now, but Ghost Bell is good against Draco Tail. It could be good against Kewl Tunes as well. This is the flex spot. You could change this to whatever hand trap you want, but I like Ghost Bell. Playing the 3 Mulcharmy Fuvalos. Fuvalos is great too. Good for going second, and it's a good normal summon to go into Almirage to go into more Yummy plays. So 3 Mulcharmies is a must. Playing the 1 Call by the Grave, very popular. The 1 Cross Out, really good going first. And lastly, the 2 Imperms. If you don't want to play the bell, you can play 3 Imperms. That's just how it is. It's a really good card going first or second. But yeah, that is all the non-engine for Yummy Mitsurugi. I'd like to go into the engine now. That being said, we are playing the 1 and only Cupsy Yummy. I know it sucks. This is the best normal summon in the game, but does not mean it's the end of the world. You could still search this with Cupsy Yummy away. It's okay that it's at 1. Lowers the consistency to get Yummy Surprise, but 99% of the times you'll be getting this within that rotation. We're playing the 3 Cookie Yummy. You have to be playing 3 cookies and 3 Lollipop Yummies because 3 and 3 is going to increase your consistency. Before you could get away with 2 or 1, but you have to play 3 now because this is your best normal summon. Any copy of Yummy is full combo normal summon at least. So these are your normal summons. You're playing the 2 Marshmallows. Marshmallows is great too. It's a good extender 99% of times when you will target this to get your Yummy Surprise, and Yummy Surprise comes back to hand when you special summon Marshmallow. So it's almost a pair of these two. So hope you're playing that correctly. Now for the Mitsurugi, I want to note, because of prayers going to 1, it is important, in my opinion, you have to play a little smaller Mitsurugi engine because you can't use this as a starter as much now. It needs to be more of a extender, and this is because using Mitsurugi prayers, 99% of times now you have to summon Kusanagi with its special summon effect if you use both effects, because Kusanagi will grab you prayers back from the graveyard, thus you can use it on your opponent's turn. That's why you play less of a Mitsurugi engine now. You no longer have to play Futsu. I feel like that's a brick card and drawing it is not ideal. So playing a small package of Kusanagi, Saji, and Aramasa are really important. 100% you have to play Saji. Is that there's nothing, no going around that. You need that because it searches your spells and trap. But Kusanagi for the grind game recycle, and Aramasa can be not used. You really don't need it, but sometimes it can come up with using things like Mitsurugi Ritual, and you need 2 reptiles that you could send from deck to grave. But the thing is, this kind of stops your normal summon with Yummy because you have to choose between the two. Unlike something like Saji could get tributed with Almirage and then you could go full Yummy. So that's pretty good bait with Saji. But with Aramasa, the thing is, it is full combo. If you can get Aramasa, Aramasa is the searcher to search any monster. So you 99% of times you're gonna get Habakiri if it's not already in your hand. Habakiri is your 1-card starter. So really, it's debatable to have it. You could take it out if you want, but really 100% is not negotiable. You have to have Kusanagi and Saji. Okay. Continuing, we also play Murakumo, that's your boss monster, and then the 2 Habakiri. Habakiri is just too good. It's so splashable in any other deck, including Yummy, so really, really good. We are also playing 3 Prep Rites. It's a great card starting, so long as you don't get the ritual spell, to be honest. It feels bad when you end up getting the mirror in your hand, because it's such a good bait to have pre-prep rights. It'll make your opponent 100% 99 times Ash this card. So it's a really good bait because sometimes you already have Mitsurugi in your hand and Yummy. That pre-prep is just a bait. We're playing the 1 Yummy Mingyong, forgot about that. The Ritual, the Mirror, and lastly, Purifications. Purifications is really good because it gives layered interruption. And it gives you the grind game too to special summon from the graveyard by banishing this card. So it's still really useful to me. So this is it. This is the Yummy Mitsurugi main deck. This, to me, is pretty universal in terms of the Mitsurugi. The only things you could really change around within this deck, in my opinion, are flex spots being Nibiru, Ghost Spell, Imperm, in my opinion. But for engine, it's pretty much well established. You cannot touch Yummy because of Cupsy being at 1. These are pretty much the ratios you need to be playing. But for Mitsurugi, because of the nerfing of prayers, you have to probably be playing Saji and Kusanagi. It is debatable if you need Aramasa, in my opinion. That's up to you guys to decide, but I don't think you need Aramasa anymore. Going to the extra deck now. So this is 100% universal in all Yummy Mitsurugi. I have not seen any deviations in this whatsoever. Nothing has changed from my previous video. Just to go over it, you are playing 1 Cupsy Yummy Way, Cookie Yummy Way, and Lollipop Yummy Way. You have to be playing these because you all go into rotation with these 3. You know, this being the Searcher, this being the Book of Moon, and this being the more bodies on the field to try to either end the game or link into higher or synchro into higher monsters. We're playing the Sorrow Cat. I really like Sorrow Cat over Metal March Hare because this card can bring back Herald and resummon it. That's why. So this is a lot more recyclable, Sorrow Cat. And Sorrow Cat is just really good to synchro in. We're playing the 1 Herald. I pray to God this will never get banned. Please, this is Yummy's last standing legs, in my opinion. If you ban this stops all of Yummy Mitsurugi. And this is just too strong of a card, true. But as of now, there are stronger decks that I really hope this does not get hit. We got other decks to deal with. I'm talking about you, Kewl Tunes. We're playing the 1 Baron. Really good about this deck is that this card can easily be resummoned after the standby phase sometimes. But yeah, it's easy to summon any Mitsurugi Ritual plus any of the Cookie Yummies, or sorry, any Yummy ways. Playing the 1 Link Spider, you have to play Link Spider for getting nibbed. You will link into this and you can still continue your plays. Playing this Kagari. Kagari is your Yummy way to link into it. The Almirage, it really comes up to just normal summon a non-engine and link it, and then as long as you have a Yummy in your hand, that's an extender, and you could go to your Yummy ways as well. The two Snatchies, 100%, you have to play two. Really feels bad that this could get banished by Kewl Tunes, but Snatchy is just too good. One IP, one Elf, one Camilla. Camilla is your bridge. Easy. Two effect monsters can easily just go into Kagari and go into the Hornet drone, so really strong. And lastly, SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight's just too good. This is usually what you're gonna summon to defend your monsters with IP. When they try to just threaten battle phase, you're just gonna banish whatever monster they summon because they're gonna try to attack over your Yummy cards, and then you won't be able to synchro summon. This is the main deck and extra deck. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any questions too, you guys can also reference my previous Yummy video. I'll link that one too. It's really useful. Again, in total, nothing really has changed about the end board or anything within the deck. It's just consistencies and slight deviations within combos, being a little bit more conservative with Mitsurugi now, just because again, prayers is at 1. That's the important one, because prayers is your grind game, and the thing is, it's only at 1. You can't make it your starter anymore. Sometimes it could be your starter, but the thing is, you will not have prayers on your opponent's turn now, which is the hard part, because this is what easily Regekis the board. So again, I want to show now one card combos within Yummy Mitsurugi. One being the any Yummy card going into Mitsurugi, and then vice versa. We're going to use Mitsurugi going into Yummy. And lastly, since we have 3 prep rights, I might as well show how to use pre-preparation rights going into Mitsurugi to Yummy. So 3 combos I'd like to show you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. Yeah, this was a really fun season. I had fun with this deck. This is my favorite deck, Yummy Mitsurugi. So for the main combo, to show off how to play Yummy Mitsurugi 1-card combo, Yummy going into Mitsurugi, assuming the 4 cards are bricks in our hand, except any Yummy, it does not matter which Yummy it is. The whole point is that you're going to use your normal summon for Yummy, and it will eventually give you a 12 disruption end board. To start, you normal summon Yummy, and then link into Snatchy. Now, assuming this is uninterrupted, Snatchy gets us Field Spell. Field Spell to summon what we just linked. And then we just go into Yummy way here. So linking the 2, or synchroing the 2, my mistake. Cup C Yummy way, 99% of times will get you Yummy or Cup C Yummy and Marshmallow. These 2 are your bread and butter that you need in this deck. And then you could discard anything. We special summon Marshmallow, and then Cup C. And then Cup C 99% of times, if it's not already in your hand, will get you surprised. And then you'll synchro all of this, synchro climbing into Sorrow Cat. And Sorrow Cat gets us Herald. Yummy Surprise will now be played in order to special summon Marshmallow. It's very important to get Marshmallow here. Marshmallow will target you. It's like a loop that you'll always get Yummy, and then Yummy will be used on your opponent's turn as a disruption. And then this is the important part. This is the bridge, Sky Striker Camilla, linking these 2 effect monsters. The effect of Herald. Herald will get you Habakiri. And then the effect of Camilla, dumping Hornet drones. And then link 1 into Kagari. And then Kagari gets us Hornet drones. Hornet Drones is played. It's very important to do Hornet Drones because you have to have an empty monster zone. And then you can leave this for when you do Yummy. So now we're just actually going to pivot into Habakiri now. So Habakiri will tribute Saji. Saji will tribute itself to get us our field ritual spell. Now, we don't play Futsu in this combo. So how, if you're wondering how we use prayers as a extender and still use that on your opponent's turn, watch this. So we summon Murakumo by tributing Habakiri. And then the effect of Habakiri to get us prayers. Very important. Most of the time now you're going to get prayers now, because prayers, the purpose of prayers is to tribute Murakumo. And you must, and I repeat, when you do both effects, you must get Kusanagi. Very, 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 very important to use Kusanagi here. Kusanagi is your only way to use and grab prayers from the grave now. So if you use it, prayers is the way to go. And then effect to get us prayers here. And then the effect of Murakumo, this is how you get the trap card Purifications. Get the trap card Purifications. And then we just summon back. There you go. Now you have your prayers. We could continue Yummy stuff by getting Lollipo. Lollipo gets us 2 Yummy cards. Usually it's going to be any of the 2. We'll go into Elf. And then, very, very important, you use Sorrow Cat to send back Herald. To synchro back Herald. Really OP right there. That's why we use Sorrow Cat. And we Elf to get Yummy. Now, you have 2 options here. You can either go into Baron or IP. I like to just go IP because I'm going to leave Murakumo as a rip a card, because we have Purifications. That's the Omni Negate in and of itself. So going into just IP like this is, to me, a little bit better. I like to have Yummy in the graveyard too, just because we're going to summon it with Elf. Because I like the disruption there, the layered disruption that you can have here. So you can link the 2. Go into IP, set Purification, set Yummy Surprise, and set Prayers. This is usually the end board that you always, 99% of times, will summon just to hide our hand. This is the end board that you will always have, and it's very important to have this end board. Usually all end boards will always look something very similar to this. Very important to do, because this is the ideal end board with 12 disruptions. If you want to know what the 12 disruptions are here, you have 2 Omni Negates here with Herald, plus the Floodgate. You have Yummy Surprise to bounce 2, IP to SP to banish 2. You have Murakumo to Regeki and rip a card in the hand. And then you'll eventually have Cookie, Book of Moon, 2 things. That's 11 disruptions. And lastly, within having Cupsy Yummy Way in the grave, if you will summon it sooner or later, you're going to end up having Lollipo and or Cookie in the graveyard to either banish a card or pop a card on the field, a monster card on the field, making 12 disruptions here. 12 here, really strong. Nothing's changed, just being a little bit more conservative with Mitsurugi's engine. I hope that made sense. This is the 1-card combo just by having any Yummy name. We started off with Lollipo, and linking into Cupsy, you ended up having this 12 disruption board. I think it's beautiful, it's flexible. You could even switch it up and get Baron the floor if you wanted to. Either way, I hope that made sense. Thank you guys so much. This is the 1-card combo for Yummy. Any Yummy normal summon leads to this end board. Thank you. Now, for this combo, this is going to be a 1-card combo from Habakiri going into Yummy. 1-card combo. Again, the end board has not changed. However, the Mitsurugi combo is a little bit more conservative than normal. You don't play Futsu, and you 99% use prayers now for Kusanagi. And to explain that, this is a perfect example. 4 bricks, 1 starter, Habakiri. Going into it, we summon Habakiri to, tribute Saji by special summoning it, using the effect to get Ritual. This has not changed. Now Ritual, this has changed because sometimes you go into Futsu, but this time you'll only go into Murakumo by special summoning it from the deck, tributing the Habakiri from the hand. You use the effect of Habakiri's graveyard effect. You will get prayers now. Now with prayers, you will tribute Murakumo, and you will use both effects. Now, this is the important part. You get Kusanagi. Kusanagi is the one that you use now to special summon itself from the hand. And then you can chain block here. Murakumo and Kusanagi to get prayers that you just used. Okay, so chain 2. Get prayers. That's how you get prayers as an extender. As I mentioned, you use prayers now as an extender rather than a starter, so you can use on your opponent's turn now. Then with Murakumo's effect, we will get purifications as Omni Negate, and then it special summons itself. And that is the end of Mitsurugi. Now, how you will bridge is through Sky Striker Camila. Be mindful, you need less than 3 spells in the graveyard in order to activate Camila's effect. Effect of Camila to send Hornet Drones, and then you actually link 1 here into Kagari. This has not changed. This is very standard now for Yummy Mitsurugi. Kagari to get us Hornet Drones, and then Hornet Drones played so you can link into Cupsy Yummy Way. And this is the bridge now into Yummy. Assuming uninterrupted, we went from Habakiri Mitsurugi into Cupsy Yummy. Effect to get Yummy and Marshmallow. Cupsy and Marshmallow. And then you could discard anything. We will just discard Fuvalos. Then effect of Marshmallow and Yummy to special summon. 99% of times you will get Yummy Surprise. And then you actually can just go into Snatchy next. Snatchy for field spell. Field spell. Summon, and then we actually will link Synchro Climb into Herald. And then Synchro 4. I like to put it in the middle so it guarantees Elf to protect it. And then we will Yummy Surprise here to special summon Marshmallow, important. So then Marshmallow's effect is to get the Yummy Surprise that you just used back to your hand as a disruptor. Then we can link into Lollipo. Lollipo's effect to get the 2 Yummy monsters. Effects are negated. We'll link 2 into Elf. and then Elf revive either one. It does not matter, just because you will synchro them, or link it, my mistake, into IP Masquereno. A very similar end board here. We'll set Purifications, set Surprise, and set Prayers. Same 12 disruptions with one card. From Habakiri to Yummy, this is the 12th card disruption here. We have 2 Omni Negates, plus the Floodgate, again, the IP to SP Banish, the Yummy Surprise to bounce 2, eventually Cookie to come out, and then Book of Moon 2 cards. Murakumo is in the graveyard to Regeki and rip a card, that's 11, and eventually with Kapsuyami Way, you're going to be able to search 2 and you'll discard, depending on the matchup, you will be either getting Cookie and discarding it, or you get Lollipo to banish a card from the graveyard. One of the two, depending on what you need. That's 12 disruptions your opponent has to play through right there. Really strong. Same consistency of it, just you have to play a little bit more conservative with the Mitsurugi portion, because again, this is at 1. I hope this made sense. This was the combo for Mitsurugi to Yummy, 1-card combo. Thank you. So for the last combo I'd like to show with Yummy and Mitsurugi is using pre-preparation rites going into Mitsurugi and then into Yummy. Assuming this is a great hand to show uninterrupted, that 1 card goes and does full combo just by pre-prep all by itself. So pre-prep will get you Mirror and Habakiri. Now it deviates a little different from just regular Mitsurugi Habakiri 1-card combo. Instead, when you summon Saji and tribute it, you still end up getting Ritual, but where things will deviate is when you summon from the deck. You still want to summon from the deck just because you want to get Habakiri or Murakumo out by special summoning this way. And then same effect here. You're gonna end up getting Prayers. And then you can mirror here. So the reason you want to mirror is to have it 1 in the graveyard, and 2 to successfully summon both Habakiri and Murakumo. You never know when you'll need it, but again, you want to be careful here because you want to have 2 bodies still on the for the graveyard. So what you can do here is you'll end up getting Purifications, and then you can actually just special summon Murakumo, and you don't even have to use Prayers anymore. This is it. You don't even have to use Prayers. That's the difference between using Mirror. Once you use all the ritual spells here, you can actually just go into Camila, and this opens the gateways into Yummy. Easy peasy. Just send here, and then you will go into Kagari. You're probably going to see this play a lot more than you will with Habakiri, just because you have 3 pre-preparation rites here. And then there you go. You have 2 bodies, 1 level 1 and 1 non-tuner. And that goes into Kapsuyami Way. Now, for the sake of this video, we're going to pretend Yummy Surprise was in the deck. So what we can do here is we're going to add 2. Usually are always going to add Kapsuyami and Marshmallow. Then I'm just going to discard Imperm. And then here we summon Marshmallow. Now for the sake of this video, again, I'm going to just show when I summon Kapsuyami, pretend I used the effect and I got Yummy Surprise. Okay, so that's it. And then here you just actually go into Snatchy now. Then Snatchy will get us Mignon. Special summon Yummy. And then we will link Synchro, sorry, into Sorrow Cat, and then go into Herald. Usually I like to put Herald in the middle, just it'll guarantee it'll be appointing an elf in defense position. And then we can use Yummy Surprise to get Marshmallow. Effective Marshmallow. Get it back to our hand, and then you can actually go into Lollipo here using the 2, and then special summoning both Yummy monsters. Effects are negated, and then easily here we go into Elf. Elf, bring back any Yummy. I like to bring Cupsy just in case they somehow negate it in defense position, and then we just go into IP. And that is it. We will set Purifications, set Surprise, and set Prayers. Same as the regular board, as always, this is ideally what you'll always end with. All roads lead to Rome. Here, we have, as always, I believe the 12 disruptions. We have the Omni Negate / Floodgate, IP to SP banishes, Yummy Surprise to bounce to. Eventually, you will get Cookie to Book of Moon 2. Purifications, Murakumo to Regeki and rip a card, that's 11. And lastly, Cupsy Yummy to get either Lollipo / Cookie to set it to the grave, and rotation to pop or banish a card. 12 disruptions your opponent has to play through right there. Really good. Pretty textbook and fundamental end board. Hope that made sense. Now, before we start, I just wanted to share the best replays, in my opinion, getting up to Masters. And I just want to share, not once within the season was I able to play uninterrupted. I had to always play through so many disruptions, going second, pushing through plays, and still making a half board or just eating hand traps and just going crazy. This is basically the epitome of how to play Yummy Mitsurugi now, conservatively. Because prayers being one, you have to have a different mindset now. You can't just play it as a starter now, because you want it as a disruptor as well on your opponent's turn. How you play this card now is you have to use it somehow, some way to try to get Kusanagi to try to get it back. So it's important to try to use it in a way that you can use it in both turns, but if you can't, it is what it is. Sometimes you're just gonna have to use it as an extender, and you won't be able to use it as a disruptor. And showing this is a great example, and I'm just gonna share, this is as a spoiler, it's gonna end quick. They're gonna quit in the first turn, but it's just a show off of how to play Mitsurugi now, or have the mindset. So with this, we have Marshmallow. We have 2 starters here, 1 card starters, and we value Mitsurugi more than Yummy because we'll have ways to still go into Yummy. So we're trying to get some baits here, and we do get some. We get a Effect Veiler. Because of that, our only other starter is Habakiri, trying to get Saji, but we're met with the Ash Blossom. Pretty normal hand traps to be used, so we have to use prayers in this way. This is kind of a 2-card combo. It's so good that we do have this in our hand and another Mitsurugi, because tributing it means we can get an extra body on the field. So as for now, it's an extender, and we get Murakumo because we tributed the Habakiri, meaning Habakiri can get us our ritual. And because of that, we'll actually pivot to try to get some disruptions with Camila, seeing if they can, you know, stop the Yummy. This will continue our Yummy plays. That's kind of why I started with Marshmallow into Snatchy first, to threaten them and to bait them. Because we're pretty much already guaranteed Ritual here unless they try to nib us, so that's why I'm playing this way. But now, we actually Ritual Summon here, and this is the important pivoting part that I wanted to share. That's why I play Aramasa, because yes, it does conflict with the normal summon of Yummy, but also it's useful sometimes clutching because you need 2 cards to send Ritual, and because of that we get to send Kusanagi. Sending Kusanagi was the most important thing to do here to make prayers come back to our hand. That's why this is to me more valuable. So we summon this way because we want to try to either rip cards from their hand now, and we have follow-up. In the end, showing this off was to show that I was still gonna go full combo Yummy, and with Mitsurugi, I was setting up to still have prayers for next turn. Now, I couldn't get purifications though, so now that you see, that's the weakness now with the deck. It's hard to try to get both purifications and prayers sometimes if you're gonna use prayers as a extender rather than, depending how you extend with it. If you can't tribute Habakiri or Murakumo, sometimes you won't be able to get purifications and Kusanagi at the same time. But yeah, that's a good example to show off how I play Mitsurugi now. On to the next. Now for this duel, we go first and we are fighting a mirror match, kind of. We are actually fighting Yummy, but a different variant. We are fighting Yummy Solfachord, and we go first, and we have a pretty ideal hand going second and first. Honestly, we have a 1-card starter and 4 non-engine. Pretty ideal hand showing off. This was a very sweaty game. I Marshmallow here to go into our only play, Snatchy. And Snatchy tries to get us the field spell to get met with the Imperm. Now, if you're wondering, why didn't I just normal summon one of the bells or ghosts and then link into Almirage and then try to get threatened with Kapsuyami Way to get impermed, and then, you know, you could always go into Snatchy? The reason is because I valued the 4 hand traps against what I was playing. I felt like it was enough to what I'm gonna fight against, that maybe 5 cards in their hand, I could stop them. So I took the gamble. 4 disruptions here, 4 hand traps. Our opponent goes, and they do something very similar. They Marshmallow going into Snatching. And when they try to extend here, I Imperm. And I know they don't have anything, because if they had another Yummy, then I'd be more worried, because Imperm they could dodge. They had Surprise, and I was hoping this would stop their plays, but they call by the Gravas. Really good on their part. Pretty good. Negating us and getting Marshmallow back. Now they're open to have an extender with Yummy Surprise and the bounces. They go into Kapsuyami Way. Now, I know this is choke point, because I know this is gonna jump off the field with Kapsuyami Way, because we ash them. My only prayer is they don't have a normal summon. If they can still normal summon, they will have more extenders and can extend with Lollipo. So I take the risk and I nib after this, hoping they don't have a normal summon. We know 1 card is in their hand, and now we know the second card is a Croaky. They Link Spider, having 1 card we don't know. Hoping to get something good, we get gold and we get Saji. Now, if you're wondering why that's gold to me, is you will see right now. We Saji to try to get a spell to get Ash Blossom. I was gonna get prayers to try to extend, but that's okay. We link it to Camila, and this is the bridge to Yummy. And knowing they only have one set card, and that set card is Yummy Surprise, I knew we're playing freely here. So we get drones. Marshmallow grabs it back to their hand. So this is practically a free board, I thought to myself. So Cupsy Yummy away gets us Cupsy and Lollipop. We get Lollipop because we already have in the graveyard the Marshmallow in rotation. Discarding it, we get Cupsy Yummy away. Or sorry, Yummy Surprise. Linking into Snatchy. And then Snatchy to get us our field spell. And this is where I'm trying to OTK them a Yummy Surprise. Now, I don't get to show this off very often because a lot of games either end because they surrender early or just doesn't pop up in interaction. But here we are using Yummy Surprise to bounce these two cards and threaten an OTK. Now, we chain, and this is important to chain with Snatchy here because the cost here, it says target 2 light beast monsters you control and 2 cards your opponent controls, then return them to your hand. We already targeted these 2 cards, so the then portion is that even if this jumps off the field, we already targeted already. So we get Lollipop. Yummy Surprise bounces the 2. So then we Lollipop to try to special summon 2. And they Akroki to try to special summon. So we just use the effect with Cupsy Yummy to get even more bodies on the field. Snatchy, then Marshmallow. We get Marshmallow because it's smart, because we'll get back our Yummy Surprise just like how they did. And then they'll just get any Yummy card, because I know they have Yummy Surprise in their hand. But this is already really overkill here. We just battle phase, and we just bam, boom, boom. That was it. That was really well played, and definitely the hand traps. It was a gamble, but 4 hand traps, I had to trust the process. It was close. I almost lost, but I had to trust the process that maybe they should not overextend and just be more conservative. Now for this duel, we are fighting Mitsurugi Fiendsmith. And I'm surprised to see that just because, you know, Mitsurugi got hit. But they engraver here to get tracked, and Droll and Lock is an MVP here. And they chain with Mitsurugi prayers before Droll hits them, and they get Habakiri, praying that they're gonna end, and they do. Really lucky there. I was really happy. And we get another Droll. So they Mulcharmy Perulia. That's a pickle for me. We're gonna summon a lot, and I'm just praying they don't have the right hand to draw. And if I don't, they're gonna end up winning. So I knew I have to go for lethal here. So first things first, we normal summon Cookie, go into Snatchy. Already giving them draws. They imperm us. That's not ideal, but thankfully we had another Yummy. We did not use the effect of special summon, so we can extend here. So it does not matter, but they drew another card. Not good. I really hope they don't ash us, and they do not. And this was gold for us, because we already have Surprise. We discard Mirror because that's a bad card, and they're already drawing cards. We get Mingyang. This is a really situational thing. We almost never get Mingyang here, but the thing is we have Surprise in our hand, and we're trying to OTK them. Mingyang is our OTK enabler. So we Surprise. The reason we Surprise here is because I don't want to give them any more draws just in case they have Nib in their deck. So we just Snatchy here, and then we get Yummy, Cookie, and we just attack because we knew we had enough. Even the opponent knew. Well played to play under Perulia. So that's exactly how I want to show off the deck, because you can weave your plays based off what Mulcharmies they hit you sometimes. So pretty good. I did give them 3 draws, so that is a little risky, but either that or I'm gonna lose the next turn. Now this example, we're fighting K9 Vanquish Soul and we go first. And we have a good hand. We have 2 1-card starters. If you want to count Mitsurugi Prayers as a one as well, we have 3. Not good going second, so happy to go first. We use Habakiri to try to bait because I don't want to get hit by Maxi. So they Mulcharmy us, which we try to build a half board with being under Fuvalos, and you will see how I do that. So no matter what, we're gonna have to give them a draw, which is not ideal, but we get Ritual. Then we Ritual to Tribute still, and we still do normal things here. We have to give them 2 draws because we need to build a half board. Then Habakiri tries to add something from hand, and they special summon Halisu. So at this point, I want to rip cards in their hand to stop them. And they discard. Special summoning. And we just get Purifications. The reason we get Purifications, we already have Prayers, we already have a Ritual here. So we might as well just try to summon. And they try to special summon here, and which is totally fine. We can't do anything about that. They try to use Vanquish Soul Raisin to pop on this field, but thankfully we dodge it. Then we try to special summon, but dang it, they Ash Blossom us. And I don't want to use Prayers to summon it back. So actually we do, I'm sorry. And they know that, so they are trying to survive and keep a board, but they have 3 cards in their hand. So we Murakumo to try to Regeki the field. I'm pretty desperate now, just because we already gave him 2 draws and we're trying to build a half board. This is why I'm sharing this example, because you have to give up some draws in order to make it work. And we can't do anything about them sending Impulse. They're trying to draw cards. But here we end. This is a great example because what we have here is we have essentially a Regeki, Hand Rip, Omni Negate, 2 Book of Moons. So that's 5 disruptions our opponent has to play through here. 4 cards in their hand. They normal summon Dr. Madlove, and I'm just trying to rip cards. And I'm trying to stop them from summoning. So we synchro into Yummy Way to try to get more bodies on the field, and they discard a card. So you know, we're ripping cards, and they get Vanquish Soul start. We try to add 2 cards, we get Yummy, and we get Lollipop. Now, if you're wondering why we don't get Marshmallows, because we're on their turn. Depending on what we have, we got Cookie and Lollipop to try to either pop a card and banish something in their grave. So we discard Lollipop. They try to draw 2, and I don't want them to draw. Knowing 3 cards in their hand, I knew this is the time to try to Regeki. Negating and destroying. The effect of Murakumo and Chain blocking with Mirror. We get Kusanagi to try to get Prayers. I think they knew that if they kept playing, they're just gonna get Book of Moon and they wouldn't be able to extend, and they only had 3 cards in their hand. We'll never know, but that was enough to stop them. And for this duel, we're fighting against Orcust, and we go first. And our hand, we got 2 starters. Pretty good. Our hand is good, except this. It's not ideal to draw this, but it is what it is. We go first. We Marshmallow to check for Mulcharmy, and Maxi, none. So we Snatchy. Snatchy gets us Field Spell. Field Spell gets us the Link card to try to threaten Yummy away. Adding 2 cards to our hand. We add Cookie and Yummy because Lollipop, because we already have Cupsy. And we get hit by a Droll. Not ideal. That sucks because I can't get Yummy surprised now. So we just special summon Snatchy and Lollipop. This example is to show off full combo of what you could do with just Yummy by itself. No Mitsurugi. Normal summon Cookie, going into Lollipop. Get 2 more cards. We are still fine if they nib us here too, but we just extend into Elf to get us Lollipop, and threaten to go into Herald. And then linking into Snatchy. And phasing here. What we have here as disruptions is we have 2 Book of Moons, 2 Hand Trap, 1 Pop, and 1 Banishment. Herald to Omni Negate, and then Floodgate. 8 disruptions our opponent has to play through here. 5 cards in their hand. Special Summon Unicorn. I don't like Unicorn. They're threatening to try to attack us. So what we're trying to do here is we get Yummy and Lollipop, and they attack our Herald. There's nothing we could do about that because they're not going to summon anything else. But that's fine. We still have the Maxi. And we have to follow up with Habakiri. So we live this turn. They try to add a card. So we're going to try to pop that by getting Cup to Yummy and Snatchy, 2 Snatchies on the field, because we want to try to use every single Yummy card to get in rotation. Trying to banish, we use Cupsy to draw, they ash it. That's fine, that's a good ash because we still have the Maxi. And then we just Snatchy, because I know they're trying to banish. I want to go to Cookie to save it from getting banished. They banish Cupsy Yummy away. So we just Book of Moon that, and then they Gearsu. So we ash that Gearsu because we don't want them to get anything. Then we Max C right after that, just because we know they're gonna Link 1 summon. They've practically went through all our disruption, but we still have the Pop and Lollipop, Cookie, Pop, and Lollipop banish. We go into Galatea. We're drawing now. They discard. So they discarded Orcust Nightmare, and I know this is a extender here because they can banish and special summon. But I knew I had to get Cookie and Lollipop on the field to chain 1, banish it, chain 2, pop that Galatea, and they surrender. They almost played through that, but pretty fun way to interact with your opponent. A really good back and forth game here that we're playing. We go first, and we're playing against Yummy K9 Yummy, and we go back and forth in this game. We go first, and we have pretty much the 1-card starter for both pre-prep and Yummy. Either one. I try to use pre-prep as the bait because I want Yummy more. I value Yummy's summons more because pre-prep is good too, but we had 2, so that's why I thought that way. They Holly Sue us after we Habakiri. I get Ritual for Murakumo. Now, the reason we go Mitsurugi first here is because we can just normal summon Cookie if everything goes wrong with Mitsurugi. That's really why I like Yummy Mitsurugi, because of the way you could play. You could choose. So we mirror here. Special summon Murakumo to blow up the field and chain block. They try to special summon? Or take control, my bad. And because they took control, they're trying to take control, they essentially can't control Murakumo here. And this is the reason why you use prayers this way as extender to get Kusanagi to special summon it. They discard a card. They grab their Kusanagi here. It's not ideal that this happened because I won't be able to use the effect now of Kusanagi. It kind of sucks, but they got me there. So it was a misplay on my part. And then they K9 Ozuna. And even if they stop me here, I have Yummy. I link into Snatchy, threatening to get the field spell, and we Yummy Surprise. The reason we do that is because we know what they're trying to do to either Book of Moon us, so they can't dodge target now. So we go in the Cupsy Yummy way. This is a great example of why and how you should play this way, because you can basically stop your opponent from shutting down your plays, and Surprise being in my hand like that was really good. We get Cupsy and we get Marshmallow. Discarding Marshmallow, we Cupsy to special get Lollipop. Now we have all rotations of Yummy. Now they try to Book a Moon, which is totally fine here, because we'll use Cupsy Yummy way to just get more bodies on the field as if it never happened. And we're threatening here to try to destroy them. They set Marshmallow, getting us our Yummy back. Surprise. And Surprise, I misplay here. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I thought you could use both effects. This is a big boo-boo, and this is why I'm sharing this. But it did not matter either way. I'm just sharing because you can still go Lollipop here, and then Lollipop to get those cards, and then link into Elf. This is still first turn, so that's why we can't kill them, and we're just summoning, and we just IP here, and we end phase. So if you're wondering what we have here, because we couldn't get prayers because we missed timing because of Holly Sue, we have 2 banishments from IP, 1 Omni Negate from Purification, 1 banishment, and 1 pop from the Yummy cards, and 2 Book of Moon. 7 disruptions our opponent has to play through here. With 3 cards left in their hand, they try to threaten to go to battle phase. So we're just gonna link to SP to stop that. And we could still use Elf's effect to get back what we banished. And we're getting Izuna because they're trying to threaten to battle phase us. Get Lollipop, knowing that if they battle and attack it, they could set a card, they pop a card. So we just use Purifications to get back Murakumo to try to rip more cards and chain block and pop it. Really good back and forth here, but we still have the banishment of SP Little Knight, but our Yummies are offline. And we try to rip cards in their hand because they are using Bonfire to get Poplar. And I knew that by then this is it. They can't extend anymore because Poplar, with Snake Eyes, you need more cards to summon. So we Little Knight them to banish. They only get 1 card left, and I know it's OSS, but they can't use OSS. That was the end of that duel. That was pretty fun. So this is my promos game, and I'm a little embarrassed to share it because I do misplay on some parts, but this is just a show too. Sometimes you could just misplay and still win. Our opponent goes first, and they end phase. I thought this was, we got it. They bricked. But you know, sometimes when they end phase like that, you know you're gonna have to play through a bunch of hand traps. So going into it, we drew Ash Blossom. I thought, oh my god, if they have a Maxi, it's all good. We're about to OTK them with a, you know, pre-prep to go into Mitsurugi and just, you know, attack, and then Yummy just to go OTK. So I thought this was it. We Yummy to have them try to special summon. You know, I misplay here trying to Ash that. There was no point of ashing because I could have just Regeki'd the field. So this is something to learn in my mind, because just to see what happens, they K9 Izuna. So that, you know, that happened. So we all know what they're either gonna get. They're either gonna get a Book of Moon, or they're gonna attach this Yummy card. And exactly what happens is they get Lupus, and then they link into Nash Knight. Nash Knight to suck my Cupsy, but that's okay. But this Maxi, this is where I had to do a Maxi challenge. So a Yummy Surprise to chain it, so I don't give them extra draw, hoping they don't get a nib or something. Even though we have a nib, we send back Lupus just in case, and then we pre-prep, but they ash us, so it's close. They have one card left. I could end, but I'm gonna try to OTK them. So instead, go into Snatchy. Snatchy gives them a draw, and we get Mignon, we get Yummy, Lollipo, and then Marshmouth special. They're drawing, and this is it. This is the Maxi challenge. This is a big boo-boo on my part. I honestly thought you could bounce it, but I accidentally forgot I used it. So I kind of just boo-booed here. Did a noob mistake just to share. But we get Snatchy, and we get Lollipo. And this was just enough. I didn't do math. I thought, oh man, I give him all these draws. 26 plus 28 plus 26 is actually exactly 8,000 damage. That was it. We made it to Masters with that misplay. A little embarrassed, that's why the last video to show would be this, but it was fun. So this was Yummy Mitsurugi in Season 52 with Kewl Tunes here. I managed to still make it really quick. This is the fastest in 10 days time. Even with how busy life is, I managed to get here. I was really proud because I really do love Yummy Mitsurugi. I genuinely do. It's my favorite type of Yummy. And I see people always clowning Yummy for not winning Meta Weekly, but the thing is, hey, you know what? It's still a meta competitive deck. It's still showing up, and that's good enough for me. It does not have to ever win because, you know what? The DC Cup and March, they were the most represented deck with Solfachord. Yummy did really well, and even though they're probably gonna get stomped by Kewl Tunes, the point is it could still fight. It could still be a meta tier deck. That's good because, you know what, Kewl Tunes could be the best deck, but every dog has their days. It's eventually gonna get hit. Yummy already got hit, and it's still a testing time, and it's doing fine in my opinion. Me as an example, I made it here with just Yummy Mitsurugi. I'm sure anyone with Yummy can still do it too. There's so many variations of playing Yummy. That's why I truly love Yummy because you could play it with many types of engines, and it's creative, it's unique, and again, it's not the most toxic deck. I mean, yeah, there's Herald, and Herald is important to the deck, but again, every deck has one Omni Negate that they're gonna have. Yeah, they have the Floodgate, so that I can't see why people get frustrated in that sense, but you just gotta bait it sometimes, or threaten the battle phase sometimes. So yeah, this is Yummy Mitsurugi. I hope you guys enjoyed, and it is a new updated deck. You just have to play it more conservatively. But yeah, I'll try to get to Masters 1 with it since we still have time, but I could also just chill and just play the side event. We'll see how it goes. Thank you again for watching. RuneXYGO out.